Welcome to the Delingpole with me, James Delingpole. I just wanted to let you know about the tremendous treats we have in store. First up, we've got Carbon Mike, my old friend Carbon Mike, and obviously we're going to talk about the hot topic of the day, the ludicrousness of Black Lives Matter. Then, after that, we've got serial entrepreneur Luke Johnson, son of the great journalist Paul, and he tells me about why he never really went through a left-wing phase, and also about why Boris Johnson's response to the coronavirus has been absolutely disastrous for the economy, and we're going to be ruining the day for many years to come. If you'd like to hear these brilliant podcasts now, all you've got to do is sign up to my Patreon, or if you don't like Patreon, my Subscribe Star. I obviously value all my lovely listeners, but I do value especially the ones who actually stump up for the podcasts I produce. So thank you for your support, and enjoy.
It was quite bizarre because unlike normally with Question Time, there was no audience. So at least I wasn't barracked by a lot of lefty COVID fanatics in the audience. They would all have been sheltering at home in a state of cowering at home. But I was also the only one of five who was from the private sector. And that was a point I made forcefully. And I think there is a bit of a dividing line between those who tend to be very supportive of lockdown and those who are very concerned by it. And those who are supportive are people like the public sector workers, not a single one of whom will face the prospect of redundancy. Whereas if the worst fears are to be believed, we could be hitting unemployment of 5 million in this country, which would be a quadrupling of the levels of unemployment from prior to the lockdown. And not all of that will come because of the lockdown. Some of it may have been happening anyhow. Some of it may have happened even if we'd have followed Sweden because of the general damage of the pandemic. But I would argue that a great many of those jobs will be lost because of the collateral damage of lockdown, and the misery of millions of unemployed is not something to take lightly. And you could see across the other guests that it barely registered for them in terms of importance. They think in that way that they're jobs for life, defined benefit pensions for life, and, whether it be NHS, teaching, civil service, the police, union boss, the transport unions, they're all right, Jack. You taxpayers in the private sector, who represent 85% of the workforce, by the way. The public sector is only 15% of the workforce, but they are our lords and masters who make all the rules, always keep their jobs, and as I say, in a perverse way, I think quite a few of them have rather enjoyed this lockdown.